hey, what's up? I'm Jace Diehl, the biggest Incredibles connoisseur in the WWW. The Incredibles 2 marketing campaign hasn't fully ramped up to reveal who the main antagonist of the film will be, and maybe they never will until we finally see the villain in theaters. But I'm here to hype up the rest of the world by showing who the main villain of the much-anticipated Incredibles sequel is. Not only who this person is, but what their costume looks like, what their powers are, and maybe some speculation of how they fit into the plot. The Incredibles 2 toys don't hit shelves until May, but I got my hands on some leaked LEGO sets through my connection, also known as eBay, and the first of which in the line is the Underminer Bay heist. We get a glimpse of this scene in the second trailer, when the Underminer drills into a bank and vacuums up money, gold, and Mr. Incredible. This may be why when a tycoon approaches Frozone about bringing superheroes back into the spotlight, he only chooses Elastigirl and Frozone, making Bob a stay-at-home dad. Closing! This tycoon is named Winston Dever, which is one of the 4 new characters from Incredibles 2, already released online by Pixar. The other 3 are Evelyn Dever, Winston's sister, Void, a new super, and Ambassador. The second LEGO set is The Great Home Escape. It looks like this new character named Brick is attempting to kidnap Dash, Violet, and Jack from their new house. After their first house explodes in the first movie, obviously in the second they're going to need a brand new one, so this is it. Brad Bird, the director of Incredibles 2, says that it's made up entirely of sharp corners, which is not ideal to have a baby in there. It's a bit impractical for a family like the Pars. Baby-proofing this place is a nightmare. Why would the Pars want to move into this house in the first place, and how could Bob afford it when he's unemployed? Well, all your questions are answered in a sticker book. A very rich man named Winston Dever offers to help the Incredibles. They move into one of his $1 million houses. So that's the same tycoon guy who's involving Elastigirl and Frozone in his mission to legalize supers again. And the third and final LEGO set is Elastigirl's Rooftop Pursuit. Elastigirl is chasing after another new character named Screenslaver in his helicopter. Again, this shows how Elastigirl's leading the charge to legalize supers again, with a little billboard that says that her approval rating is up 18%. Now let's take a step back for a second. With one unique villain appearing in each of the 3 LEGO sets, one of them must be the main antagonist of the film. It's not the Underminer because he's only used in the prologue of the film to reintroduce the characters and lay the groundwork for the main plot. It's not Brick either because she's among a lot of side villains. At D23 2017, Brad Bird said that there'll be a lot of new heroes with amazing powers that rival the Incredibles. He then showed off concept art of about 25 or more new superheroes. I think that's just like a glimpse of what we'll see. And so with superheroes, there's villains, so there's a balance there. So there's obviously going to be a lot more villains in the movie too. And that's also seen in that sticker book I talked about before. There's this old man that's spewing out fire from his mouth, and there's this weird-looking falcon bird dude that's flying around. So that's just a small sample of what we'll see in the movie. And that leaves the main villain of the movie. The main antagonist, the guy who's gonna be threading his evil things throughout the entire movie, Screenslaver. What? How do I know this? Well, there's a line of action figures put out by Jakks Pacific, where you see each of the main characters from this movie and the last. You see Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Jack, Violet, Dash, Frozone, and the only other character that's included in this lineup is Screenslaver. They could have put another character that we know from the first movie that's recognizable, like Edna Mode in this style, but they chose to put Screenslaver. Interesting. There's also a book called Battle of the Supers, and it's going to recap the first movie and Incredibles 2. So on one side of the Incredibles, there's Syndrome, representing the first big bad, the villain of the movie. And on the other side, there's Screenslaver. If that doesn't make it obvious enough, I don't know what would. Okay, one more piece of evidence. At Pixar Animation Studios in Emeryville, California, they always put up a new banner in the main studio lobby that showcases whatever film is coming out next. So they just put out a new banner of Incredibles 2, and right directly in the middle of that cool stylized banner is Screenslaver. So I contacted an amazing artist on Twitter at emandp98. I sent E-Man the Lego minifigure of Screenslaver and also a silhouette of what he looks like, which came with this action figure set with Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible. So what he did was he took the design printed on the Lego minifigure and transferred that over to the silhouette to get this amazing concept art of what Screenslaver will look like in Incredibles 2. as you can see, E-Man is an amazing artist, so go follow him on Twitter at EManDP98. I mean, look at the detail in every... It looks like E-Man just hacked into Pixar and stole the character model and sent it to me. This is exactly what it's going to look like in the movie. Probably. You can tell what Screenslaver's powers are based off of his mask and his name. Going back to that banner we found at Pixar Animation Studios, on the side of Screenslaver you'll see a camera and a TV screen. Screenslaver. So he's obviously going to enslave people, or kind of, I'm assuming kind of hypnotize people using screens in his mask and maybe actual TVs in people's houses and stores and things. Now I can get more in depth into his costume, his powers, how he fits into the plot, what his relationship is with the Incredibles and Frozone, but it might be considered spoilers. The reason why I don't think it would be is because if you look at evidence, if you actually look into what Pixar's released already about other characters and about Screenslaver, and if you look at the Lego set, if you were to buy it and open it up and look at the minifigure, it's pretty obvious who it could be and who it actually is. Because I know for sure who's underneath the mask, and I can talk much more about who this person is once I tell you who's underneath the mask. But it could be considered a spoiler again, so spoiler alert. Okay, you're still here? Alright. What I said at the beginning of this video isn't 100% true. The fact that the villain hasn't been seen in any of the trailers leading up to this point, or any of the marketing at all. Well, Screenslaver, the villain who I just told you is the main antagonist of Incredibles 2, hasn't been seen directly in any of the marketing so far. But the person behind the mask has. The tycoon who's recruiting Frozone and Elastigirl and leaving Bob as a stay-at-home dad. The guy who's trying to make supers legal again. The only new character we've seen really at all in any of the marketing, Winston Dever. It doesn't mean a lot now, but it will when you see the actual movie who Winston Dever is. Now, the reason why I don't think it's that big of a spoiler is because if you get the Lego set that I got of Elastigirl's Rooftop Pursuit with the little minifigure of Screenslaver, if you take off the mask, it's obviously Winston Dever. I mean, that face, it looks exactly like the concept art they've already released, and even that quick bit in the trailer of Winston talking on the phone. Also, again, going back to that Incredibles 2 banner at Pixar, if you go right next to the screen and the camera and Screenslaver, in the middle of it all is Winston Dever. He's the only new character besides Screenslaver that's on this poster. Also, as I said at the beginning, Winston has a sister named Evelyn Dever. Evelyn Dever. It was Evelyn Dever. Evelyn Dever. Evil Endeavor. It doesn't get more obvious than that. His sister's name is Evil Endeavor.
Coincidence? I think not!
Having her name literally be Evil Endeavor could mean that she is the one pulling all the strings for everything, because she's also a part of Winston's company, DevTech. She could be technically the main antagonist of the movie, but he's definitely the face of the villain. Here's one more thing. The voice of Winston Dever is Bob Odenkirk, and when asked if he is the main villain of Incredibles 2, he says, "I'm not going to wreck that. I would ruin my part of the movie if I told you, if I answered that question. That is the exact question I'm not allowed to answer. So think about that. Think about that." There you go. Winston Dever is Screenslaver, the main villain of Incredibles 2, which jumps into theaters on June 15, 2018. Be sure to share this video with other Incredibles fans who need more info on the sequel. I'm Jace Diehl. Thanks for watching.